All right, so we're going to start chapter 5. So, rate of change and slopes. We're going to talk about what are they, and then how can you find them from a graph, a table, or when you're given 2 points. So, as a warm up, pause the video and work on this problem. Complete the table below. All right, so here we have $90 in your bank account. So, we start off with 90 off the bat, and then every week you save $15. So, we need to look here at what's the difference in the number of weeks between our spots. We went up by 2 weeks, which then we need to add $30 because you got 15 the first week and then another 15 the second week. So we'd have a total of 120. Check here how much we went up by. We went up by 3 weeks. So 15 times 3 would give you 45. So you went up $45 to get 165. And then you can keep doing this process. We'll get 210 here and 240 here. Okay, so slope. You've probably seen this before, but we'll do a review. So on a graph, the slope is the rate of change between 2 points. What that means is like how steep is your graph, how flat, like is it going up or is it going down, all that kind of stuff. So here's your definition. It's the vertical change divided by the horizontal change. So your change going up and down divided by your change going right and left. Another way to say that would be your change in your y over your change in x, or the rise over the run. So rise is up and down, and run is left to right. So here we have 2 points marked, one right here and one right here, and we want to figure out what's the slope. So let's figure out the rise first. Here we went, you always want to go left to right. So we're going left to right when you're finding slope. You don't want to go the other direction. So go like when you read things. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we're going to write the slope here, we want the rise, so what's going up, which is our 4, divided by the right or left, which is 5. And here these are both positive because we're going up and then we're going in the positive x direction. If we had gone like this and then we went this direction, then we would have ended up negative if our line had looked like this. Okay, so what's the slope of this line? When you're picking points to find the slope, you want to pick things that are exactly on a cross. So I want to pick this right here. I don't want to pick this point because that's somewhere in between 0 and 1. I don't know exactly what it is, so I can't count full squares. So we're going to pick this point, and you can pick this point over here. And I'll always do your rise first. So we're going to go here, 2 down. So because we're going down, it's going to be negative. And then 1, 2, 3. We're still going in the positive x direction. So this will be positive 3. So your slope is going to be your rise, so our negative 2, divided by our 3. Now, if for some reason you didn't see that center point, you could have seen a different point here. Like maybe you looked at this one and this one. You should get the same slope. So if we calculate that doing this way, we went 1, 2, 3, 4. So down 4, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we write that out, the slope, looking at the 2 purple points, we get negative 4 over 6. And then you can simplify this by dividing both by 2. And you should still get negative 2 over 3. So you'll get the same slope no matter what points you pick on the line. All right, pause the video and try these 2 slopes on your own. So if we're looking at this first one, here's 1 point. And here's another point. We can go up first. We have 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are both positive. You want to do your vertical stuff first. So 3 over 5 would be your slope. For this one, we have a point right at the cross right there, right at the cross right there. We go 1, 2, we went down, and 1. So this would be negative 2 over 1, which you can simplify to negative 2. So a couple special slopes. So the slope of a vertical line, if we're looking at this, if we calculate it, we can look here to go from this point to this point. We went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we didn't go anything left or right. So we went up 6. So if we write this out, you get 6 over 0, but you're not allowed to divide by 0. That's not possible. So if you type this into a calculator, you're going to get an error message. So a way to say that in math terms, if you get an error message and something doesn't work, you say it's undefined. So the slope of a vertical line is undefined. It's all rise. You're going all the way up, but you're not going back and forth. You can think of this in terms of walking. Like normally slopes you can walk up or you can walk down. Here, if this was like a ski hill or something, if you stepped off of this point, you just fall. Like you're not going to be able to walk. It's not possible. So it's undefined. Then we also have the slope of a horizontal line. So we can find this the same way. If we pick this point, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this was only in the horizontal direction. We didn't go up and down at all. So up and down is still 0. And we went 5 in the x. This just becomes 0. So then that's your slope. So we're going all rise, or sorry, no rise, all run. Okay, so just some like general pictures so you can kind of see what things are. We talked about horizontal and vertical lines. So a slope of 0 is always going to be a horizontal line, and undefined is always a vertical line. Positive just means you're going up. So your positive directions, we're going to go up like this. You could be super steep like this. You could be not super steep, anything going up. Negative is the exact opposite, so we're going down. You could be super steep going down, as long as you're not actually vertical. You could be like just slightly going down, anything facing down. Okay, so then what is rate of change? How is it different than slope? It's very, very similar, but it's used in the context of like word problems in real life a little bit more. So rate of change is the change in the dependent variable divided by the change in the independent variable. So dependent, again, those are our y variables, and independent were our x variables. So this here is our x and our y. So if we want to find the rate of change here in this table, we want to take the change in the dependent divided by the change in independent. Well, it's the change in account balance, so down here, divided by the number of weeks. So if we just pick some, looking at this, if we go like right here to here, this is our example from the beginning. We went up 3 and up 45 to go between these. So to find the rate of change, we want to take 45, our y, divided by our x, or 3. And that would give us 15. And that makes sense. If we go back to the very beginning, we talked about she made $15 a week. So you want it to be the same idea. All right. So last concept here is how do we find the slope between 2 points? So it doesn't give us a graph. It doesn't give us anything else. We want to find it between 2 points. And there's a formula for that. So it's the change in y and over the change in x. And this is that formula. So if you have 2 points here, you have an x and a y and an x and a y. You always want to take the second y minus the first y divided by the second x minus the first x. And that will give you your change in y. So this is the change in y, and this would be your change in x. So we'll do some examples. Here's our formula. Here's our 2 points. So I'm going to label these so you can see them. Here would be our x1, y1, and then our x2, y2. And then you're just going to plug it into the formula. So we have that slope equals y2, so the 6, or sorry, the negative 4. So negative 4 minus y1, so minus 2, all over x2 minus x1, so 6 minus a negative 4. And then you want to simplify this down. So negative 4 minus 2 is going to be negative 6. Here we have a negative times a negative. So being negative becomes plus, and you'll get negative 6 over 10. Now at this point you want to simplify. I can divide both by 2, and you'll get negative 3 over 5. So pause the video and try these two on your own. All right, so we'll label these again. We have x1, y1, x2, y2. So our slope, if we have y2 first, it'd be 7 minus y1, so minus -3, and then 5 minus 0. This will become 10 because this becomes positive over 5, simplify, and you'll get 2. Next one, here we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So we have slope, and you have 4 minus 1 over 6 minus -1. You'll get 3 over 7, and then here we can't simplify. You can't divide 7 by 3. So that's your answer. Okay, so rate of change on different intervals. So here we have the total distance ran by a student in gym class is expressed below. So we're trying to look at the rate of change between minutes 1 and 4. So we're looking at these two boxes right here. So this would be, if we think of this as our x1, x2, y1, y2. And then we're finding the slope or the rate of change between those two. So you want to take 740 minus 200 over 4 minus 1. You'll get 540 over 3, which then will simplify to 180 over 1. Or what this means is that we're going 180 meters per 1 minute. So now it wants between 9 minutes and 17 minutes. We want this one and this one. So now this is our x1, x2, y1, y2. So you can do 2,730 minus 1,560 all over 17 minus 9. Will be 1,170 divided by 8, and you'll get 146.25 meters per minute. So between minutes 9 and 17, they were going slower than they were between minutes 1 and 4. And that's it. So you can go on Math Excel and do the 5.1 assignment.